Hi there, lovely people, it's Valerie again from Dashly. So today I'm going to tell you another story about a customer of Dashly who achieved amazing results. Let's see what tasks they had for Dashly and how they solved them. So the initial goal was indeed to increase sales on their website. Next, they were planning to enhance the customer assistance on their website. So meet the hero of our story, and it's Fred. And he is the Chief Marketing Officer at 4 airfare search websites.
Fred is the Chief Marketer at 4 services that help people search for flights. What's unusual about these? All these websites are served by only one support team. Let's take a closer look at these 4 websites. Avago.com and one more website help to form several routes options. After that, you only need to choose the most appropriate deal, enter your contact details, and make a purchase. In a nutshell, the purchase is automatic and no people are needed to help customers buy tickets. On Volfire.com and Ironground.com, an agent helps the customer to form the route. This option is helpful when your route is difficult. You want to fly with a particular airline or have the different back options. An agent will help you to buy the most appropriate options with the price that fits your budget the most.
So watch this video up to the end to get the plenty of insights based on this case. Before we started working with Fred, his team had the following problems. Problem number 1, they were going to scale. They were going to increase the number of people in their team. And of course, quite many of the new members were going to join the customer assistance team. But quite often you have to pay for additional seat agents. And indeed, that was an issue for them. Problem 2, the supervisors didn't have any access to the conversation an agent is having. So which means they couldn't interfere into the conversation and probably help with some problem that their customers facing in a better way. Actually, they had the access to the conversation only after that was closed by the agent. So all the cases that they were discussing were quite late to be discussed, right? And probably the main problem, which is problem number 3, is that they had 4 websites, and for each website they had a separate admin panel in a separate tab. So whenever they had to manage all the conversations across all the 4 websites, they had to switch between all the 4 tabs. Wow, that was crazy. So they just looked at all the 3 problems they had and decided to introduce some changes. And that is actually how they found Dashly, which solved all the problems, and now let's discuss it in details. So first, let's see how Dashly helped them enhance the customer support. From day 1, Dashly solved the first problem that they were having. It's actually adding new agents. So Dashly has unlimited seats opportunity. So indeed, Fred added as many people as possible in Dashly to work with the customers. So how it works? You may have just one support agent who solves as many questions as possible, or you might have a team of 10 people and still the price of Dashly is the same for you. Well, you can actually have a distributed team of people, like for example, you might have some virtual assistants that help you somewhere from another part of the world, and still you will add them for totally free in Dashly. Well, of course, you might have the junior support and you might have senior support, and indeed, they might have different access rights to the conversations, and that can be also achieved with Dashly because you can set up the access rights for each of the group of the operators. Next, supervisors finally had the access to all the conversations. Even though they are open, still they can right now take a look at what the agent is discussing with the customer. So that is how they might come with some helpful insights, some advice, so whatever, just to make the customer assistance better on a daily basis. The next step, which was also solved by Dashly, is to get all the 4 different tabs from 4 different websites into just one panel. So why you might need it? Well, first of all, your agents focus on one tab only, point one. Then you also economize the time on switching between all the tabs and trying to find the conversation which is still not resolved, or you're trying to find the customer who is waiting for some additional comments from your side. That is point two. Point three. Of course, it is much cheaper to pay just for one platform rather than 4 different ones, yeah? And point four, which is to my mind the most convenient one, is just you can connect as many Facebook groups as possible to one admin panel. So which means if you communicate with your customers, your potential customers, your audience and whatnot through a Facebook page, you can also connect that to Dashly and reply to all the conversations from Facebook in Dashly. So still you stay in one tab. No matter how many Facebook groups you have, you are just in one window, focused on all the conversations that you are having. So once all the 4 websites were connected in one admin panel, you might understand how many conversations they started getting in just one platform. So indeed, all the agents that were also added to Dashly started to get confused. So they have just tons of conversations that are in one folder, and they just forget about the context of the conversation. They forget about what they were actually discussing with the customers within one conversation, right? And Dashly has the solution here as well. So you can configure as many conversation channels as possible. For example, you can set a channel for the customers who are interested in pricing, right? Or you might set a special channel for those who are from New York, let's say. Or indeed, as I mentioned, there are like 4 websites. All these 4 websites can be distributed in 4 different folders, right? So that is how the agents got everything in the perfect order, and their inner perfectionists were happy. No more mess in the conversations. Let's actually see in details what type of channels you might have. Well, for example, your e-commerce store can work with just people who buy 1-2 items. You may also work with the retailers, and you may work with the distributors, right? So indeed, you need different approach to all these 3 types of customers. And of course, that requires an agent who has certain competences in communicating with those types of customers. So which is why you might set 3 different folders with the access for 3 different agents, right? Like, for example, Mary is dealing with the retail customers, while Bob is communicating only with those who are the distributors. Next case, which was also discussed with Fred at the very beginning of our collaboration, was the automated messages to those who were staying for some longer than usual on particular pages. I mean, the customers who are a bit hesitant whether they are going to purchase anything or not. So Fred created a certain type of message which was shown automatically to those who were staying for some long period of time on a page, like hesitant whether they are going to purchase anything or not. And that message was shown, so the agents were able to start communication with the people who were about to purchase something but still had some issues. And that is how agents helped to increase sales on the 4 websites. And the final point to tell you about. So that was actually noticed by Fred and his agents. Initially, when they had 4 websites without any live chat on it, they had quite low conversion to the sale. When the live chat was introduced to the website, the customers and the potential customers, so the website visitors, right, were a bit more confident to make the purchase, because whenever they had some hesitation, whenever they had some questions about what they're actually paying money for, so they could click on the live chat widget and they could initiate the conversation with the agent. So that is how e-commerce can build trust, reassurance and confidence in their customers. So like, you start talking to people, you understand who those people are, and you're quite sure what you're paying for. So that is the magic of a live chat. So what was the first result after the introduction of Dashly to the 4 websites? Of course, they started generating more leads. And secondly, they started getting more sales, so their conversion rates just increased, and as well as the profits. But that was not the final point, you know? So Fred has the following plan for the future. Of course, they are going to launch different types of pop-up windows depending on the segmentation, like the customers from New York, those who have already purchased something, or those who came to the website for the 10th time, let's say, but still haven't purchased anything. So Fred is going to introduce as many pop-up windows as possible with different segmentation, and that is called personalization magic. And as the next step after the pop-up windows introduction, they're going to start shooting emails with the relevant information to the segment. So that was the story of Fred. I'm very curious to know how lead generation is organized on your website. Please feel free to share your ideas and cases in the comments. Or if you just start thinking about how you can organize the lead generation and also the customer assistance on your website, you are very welcome to use the link in the description to this video. Sign up in Dashly and start practicing different types of website visitors engagements. If you already have this process set up, but there are some issues in the processes, let's discuss them in the comments as well. I'm sure we might come up with the perfect solution to this. So that is it for today. Don't forget to let us know if you liked this video or not. Just click on the like or dislike button. Also subscribe to the channel, as we are delivering the real cases for your marketing weekly. And see you in the next video.